So in this video, I'm going to go through my favorite app on my iPad for doing a lesson with students or making an answer key with students. And during class, normally, like when we're in person, I will use Notability as like an AirPlay with my projector so that I can do notes using that. But it's also really well paired with the screen recording tool on the iPad because I find that I can do full video lessons and then upload them on YouTube. And because I normally use that during class, my students have been pretty comfortable with those lessons over the last couple weeks. So, um, yeah, Notability is an app it's like blue, it's in the upper right corner almost. It has a pencil and a microphone, and you can get it through Manager. I did put steps on how to do that on the HyperDoc. So what I like about Notability is that you can log into your Google Drive account. You can also log into like a Dropbox account if anybody still uses Dropbox, but what's nice is I basically make stuff in Google Docs or in Google Slides, and then I can import those into Notability, which makes me able to write on them. So, especially in math, I usually need to model like steps or expectations on a problem or how to approach a problem, something like that. And so I find Notability to be the easiest way to show that modeling process. So as you can see, I've done a lot of things in Notability. I've used Notability almost every day for a couple of years now, and they all just kind of stay on this home page. The other nice thing, though, about Notability is you don't have to necessarily make something beforehand. So if you go to the upper right-hand corner and you click on, there's like a little square that has a pencil in it, you can open up this blank page. And this is where I normally do like bell work, or if students have a homework question, you can basically just write on it like you would a piece of paper. So for example, bell work, solve the problem, and I could write like an equation on here that I want the students to solve. So there's great functionality that way, and I think the nice thing about Notability is you can really use it for whatever needs your class has. So I could put an equation like this one on the board, and then I could solve it for students. A lot of times I have that waiting in my classroom. You can also see, like, if you hit the plus sign, you can add photos, camera, GIFs, web clips. There's also options for changing what the paper looks like. So if I didn't want to have white paper, but I wanted denim or this cream color, you can also add lines. So there's just a lot of things you can do. Graph paper. So many options on Notability that really kind of open up instruction in a different way. Now, the way that I normally use Notability would be using something I've created in Google Drive. So I either create something in Google Slides and would do a lesson that way, or I would create something in Google Docs. So this is an example of a lesson I did in Google Slides, the essentials of dot plots. And what's nice about Notability is that if you did just want to go through and do it like a PowerPoint that you were recording, that's totally an option. But you can also write on it. So if you want to import something from Google Drive, you would log into your Google Drive account and you can see it's just loading, and then it basically pulls up every single thing I've made in my Google Drive. So you can import it straight from there, and then it will go into Notability. So that's, for example, how I would have got this slides into Notability. And then you can just go through it like you would a normal PowerPoint. But you can also go through, and when you need to write, you're welcome to do that. So that's what's nice about it. You can zoom in, you can get as detailed as you want or as general as you want with your writing. There are a ton of features like different colors to write with. You can highlight, you can erase, you can just do so many things on Notability that I think really enhance instruction. The other nice thing is once you're done with the presentation or once you're done with the lesson, you can also export everything that you've written back to Google Classroom. So that's an option as well. In the upper left-hand corner, you can see there's like a square with an arrow going up, and this is how you would go and export that back to Google Classroom. So you can select the pages you want, you can name it, you can put it into a certain folder. And so it's nice because my students can see that lesson during class, and then if they miss something or they want to go back, they have the exact same version in Google Classroom. So it's similar to like how people would have used airliners in the past, but I just do it on the iPad. Now, a more common way I would do this is I would make like a review sheet or I would make a notes sheet and I would print it out for students. and then I can have that exact same sheet on Notability. So this is a slope quiz review sheet that we were practicing, and so I can just go through problem by problem with the students. They have the exact same thing in front of them, and it really helps if, like in math particularly, if they need to format a problem a certain way, or if I have certain expectations on how to do a problem, I can really show that in a very visual way and then share that on Google Classroom as well. So again, I think the best way to learn Notability is really just to try it yourself, but I know there's a ton of features, and you can really customize it to how you do your class. You can get a lot more complicated with Notability, but I just wanted to give you an idea on how I use it on a daily basis. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from students, and students love to take my iPad and do a question, themselves. So they'll take my little stylus that I've linked on the HyperDoc, and they'll go through and explain a problem to the students during class. They'll do that with bell work, they'll do that with other things, which is kind of fun. As I said, the stylus I use is a Miko stylus. It's inexpensive, and it's the easiest way to write on an iPad.